got to enjoy this car now. Go to put it in gear, won't get into reverse, won't go into forward, won't do anything. Won't even go into gear to get it out of the trailer. Now I got a car that doesn't run at all. I got $30,000 in it. So Aston Martin can't fix my Aston Martin. So a few years ago, I bought an Aston Martin. The reason I bought it was Janice had always wanted an Aston Martin. And well, the opportunity came up. It was a great car, 40,000 kilometers on it, immaculately kept, and the price was good. So, we bought it, we started to enjoy it. The thing about that was, every now and then I'd be making a left-hand corner with it and it would fall out of second gear. As nice as everything else was, it just drove me crazy that, and it was maybe 1 out of 4 or 5 turns. It wasn't even that bad. Other than that, car was fully drivable. I decided that, well, I can't live with this. I got to get it fixed. So sent it off to a transmission shop that said that they were skilled and had a guy who could whip through it, a place we had done business with before. So I wasn't worried about it. So I sent it down to them. Well, I started worrying about it about a year later. Hadn't heard anything about my car. Had a few reports that, well, the clutch was totally worn out. Well, that's 40,000 kilometers on it. How can the clutch be worn out? Little things like that. But I said, yeah, just do it. If it's got to be done, do it. About a year or better later, I get a phone call. Car's ready. So I send the truck and trailer down to pick it up. Brad brings it back. I drive it home. Everything's fine. Beautiful. Wonderful. I'm pretty happy. Next morning, I walk out to the car, get in, fire it up. Fires up like boom. Makes a great sound when it fires up. So got to enjoy this car now. Go to put it in gear. Won't get into reverse. Won't go into forward. Won't do anything. So I disconnected the power supply and reconnected the power supply and played around with it, and probably 10-15 minutes later, I finally managed to get it to go into reverse. Is it going to go into first? It did, so off I went. I drove it in, didn't stop, just kept going. I've got to get it into work. Got it to work, shut it down, started it up, wouldn't go into gear. Had it trailered back down to the transmission shop. A couple of months later, sent it back with another bill. So now I've got $27,000. Now there's another, $3,000 into it. I get it home, won't even go into gear to get it out of the trailer. So take it back. They say, oh, well, the parts we put in it last time, they needed them, but it needs some more parts. And I just said, you know what, just send it back. Or take the parts out that you put in last time. We wouldn't do that, brought it back. Now I got a car that doesn't run at all. I got $30,000 in it. So it's gone from a happy place to like a really unhappy place. I want my money back. So I take it to Aston Martin. They got to be able to fix it. Shop rate's $300 an hour. Oh well, got to do it. Send it down to them. 3 or 4 months later, I get a phone call. Yeah, you can come and get your car. Okay, great. Oh, it's not fixed. Oh, all right. Well, that's a shame. Well, why not? Well, the parts are unavailable. So Aston Martin can't fix my Aston Martin. No, sir, we can't fix your Aston Martin. I said, well, I'd had a key fob program, so I figured I must owe them a little money. So I said, can you send me a balance of what I owe you? Because I had the key fob. And said, that's fine. Send me the balance. $4,000. So Aston Martin charged me $4,000 to not fix my car. They said they put parts in, but clearly those weren't the parts that were required, but I was going to have to pay for those parts anyway. So you know what? At this point, I don't have the same affection for this car I once had. I think that's understandable. What am I going to do? Well, it's been sitting in this corner of the shop for a long time, under a cover, getting dusty and everything, and I had it covered up so I couldn't even see it, because every time I saw it, it annoyed me just a little bit. And then I had a bit of a brainstorm. You know what? I don't need that 12-cylinder. I don't need that really stupid transmission. What can I do? Well, I like changing things anyway, and as much as I never wanted to touch this car because I thought it's such a perfect thing, I'm going to change it. Here's my thoughts, and I want you guys to chime in on this. Here's what I'm thinking. Either a Viper V10 engine and driveline in this thing, or I gut it out completely and turn it into an electric car. I'm thinking about some body modifications as well, and I mean, that's going to be a tough thing to do because it's a pretty perfect looking car. But if I'm going to change the driveline, well, I'm going to change the whole damn thing. So I can't make that decision myself. What I'm going to do is you guys make your comments, and one or the other way is going to win. If there's more comments about put a Viper V10 in it, and I suspect there might be, or turn it into an electric car, well, that's the route we're going to go. So listen, stay tuned, watch the developments. For God's sakes, give me some comments about what kind of driveline you'd like to see in this thing. We'll act on that, we'll do it, we'll work on it together. And not only that, but you guys are going to be along for the ride, or push. It's an Aston Martin after all.